Okay, these are my two different lamp. One lamp rating is 60 volt and 110 volt is the voltage requirement, and another lamp is having rating is a 100 volt, that is the power rating, and voltage rating is 110 volt. So as we have discussed that in the series connection the voltage get additive, so for that I have connected 110 plus 110, that is the 220 volt is the requirement. So how much voltage will come across this lamp L1 and how much voltage will come at the L2? So how I can find out? See, to find out this, first of all you should find out how much will be the resistance that is offered by the lamp 1 and how much is the resistance that is offered by lamp 2. If you are finding this resistance, then as they are in series, so what you can find? You can do the addition of these two resistance and you can find out the total resistance. So let's find the resistance first. So R is equal to V square divided by P, and the voltage rating is 110 and power rating is 60. So the answer will be approximately 201.66. Now we will find the R2. So R2 is equal to V2 square divided by power rating. So it will be again 110 square divided by 100. That means it will be approximately 1 to 1 ohm. Now the equivalent resistor R is equal to R1 plus R2. That means it will be 322.66 ohm. That is the total resistance that is offered by the circuit. But I want to find out how much is the voltage that will come across lamp 1. So to find out the voltage at lamp 1, you can use the formula, or first of all you should find out the how much is the total current. So the total current, how you can find out? You can find out by I is equal to V divided by R. So it will be 220 divided by total resistor. How much was the total resistor? It was 322 ohm. So your total current will be 0.681. So voltage at lamp 1, how much it will be? It will be V is equal to I into R. So I value is 0.681 and the value of resistor, that is for the lamp 1 it will be 201.86. That means at lamp 1 I will get 137.5 volt. Same way at lamp L2 I will get 220 minus 137.5, that means 82.4 voltage. So what you can conclude from these answers? See, from these answers you can see that in my basic circuit, that is in this circuit, I am getting 137.5 voltage, and in this circuit I am getting only 82.4 voltage. So is it sufficient? No, it is not sufficient. See, whenever you are doing this kind of series or parallel connection, first of all you should find out these answers, that if I am connecting them in series, then what will happen. So what is happening? As the lamp rated is 110 volt, so in the first connection you are giving 137.5 voltage. So what will happen? It will get fused, and if it get fused, so what will happen? It get fused if it will not work. So what will happen in the series connection? If one lamp is not working, then the connection will get disconnect and the another lamp will also not working. So this both lamp will not work and this whole circuit will not work. So as an electrical engineer, if you want to start these two lamp, see, from this analysis we have seen that if we are doing this type of connection, that is the wrong series connection, so what will happen? That both lamp will not work and the whole circuit will not be work, and you will be in the dark condition. So what we can do, or what are the remedies to start this both lamp? So one maybe give the answer that if I connect the two lamps in parallel, so what will happen in the case of parallel connection? See, in the case of parallel connection, the voltage will be same. So our voltage is, in this example, it is 220 volt. So if I give this 220 volt directly, so what will happen? This lamp will not work and it will get fused. So how I can find out the remedy that I can turn on both the lamp? So first remedy is that I should insert a resistor in parallel with the lamp 1. So what will happen? If I am connecting a resistor in parallel with the lamp 1, so what will happen? That some of the voltage will get drop across the resistor. So what will happen? That the current, the voltage requirement will be fulfilled, and the second lamp will also get the sufficient amount of voltage. So this series and parallel connection are very much important whenever we are making any circuits. So due to this analysis, we can find out some advantages and the disadvantage of the series and parallel connection. Like we are doing the parallel connection in our home. Why? Because from the electricity board or the electricity company, we are getting only a fixed amount of voltage. So what we can do, if we are doing a series connection and if one equipment is having a different different rating or the different resistor, so what will happen? That the voltage requirement will be different, so that cannot be feasible. One more disadvantage in the series connection is that if suppose one element or the one resistor has got damage, so what will happen? That whole circuit will be in the dark. So cost wise, if we do the analysis, then the series connection is ultimately reducing the power consumption, but same way, if suppose any fault is occurring in the circuit, so what will happen? That whole circuit will get damaged. So these are the basic things about the series and parallel connection. Now we will use the series and parallel connection circuits in solving some numericals, and we will also see the Kirchhoff laws. See, same way the Kirchhoff, there are two laws that were given by Kirchhoff. Kirchhoff was a scientist name who has invented a current law, and another one is the Kirchhoff voltage law. So we will see how the Kirchhoff laws are actually working. Okay, so this was the first law, that is denoted by KCL. So it is the sum of the current flowing into the node is equal to the sum of current flowing out that node. You can see that I1, see, this one is the junction in which two currents are coming. One is I1 and another one is I2. And two currents are leaving, that is I3 and I4. So what will happen? That Kirchhoff current law states that the sum of current that is flowing into the node is equal to the sum of the currents flowing out to that node, or it is a one kind of thing, that is incoming current is equal to outgoing current. So the statement of Kirchhoff current law is that the algebraic sum of the branch currents at the node is 0 at every instant of time. In the alternative form, you can say that the sum of the branch current entering a node at a given instant of time is equal to the sum of the current leaving the node at the instant of time. See, this Kirchhoff current law is very much useful for finding out the branch current and doing the DC circuit analysis. Okay, now we will see Kirchhoff voltage law. So the Kirchhoff voltage law is a law that defines as a mesh law also, or it is a Kirchhoff second law also. In this law, we are having a circuit that is R1. There are different resistors are connected. So one can take this as a loop, and this applying this Kirchhoff voltage law in this loop, we can say that the sum of the voltage in any closed loop is equivalent to the sum of the potential drop in the loop. That means V1 is the voltage drop that is occurring at the R1, and V2 is the voltage drop that is occurring at the R2, and V3 is the voltage drop that is occurring at the R3. So the addition of this will be 0. That means the in mathematical step you can say that sigma IR will get 0. So the statement of Kirchhoff voltage law is like the algebraic sum of the product of current and the resistance of the various branches of a closed mesh of a circuit plus the algebraic sum of the EMF in that closed mesh is equal to 0. So you can see from this figure that the sum of the voltage across the resistor is equal to, but has the opposite polarity from the supply voltage E. Thus E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus E4 is equal to E. Okay, now to do the analysis of the Kirchhoff current law and Kirchhoff voltage law, we first need to find out that how we will take the battery EMF or the sign of the battery EMF. So for this we can see that if the battery is connected likewise, that is here negative and positive, and if we are applying the Kirchhoff law, so what will happen, that there is a rise in voltage, that is plus E. So whenever we are writing the equation in the based on the Kirchhoff voltage law, we have to take as a plus sign. If the voltage is fall, that is the battery is connected likewise, we have to take as a negative E. Same way for the current, that current, if the current is flowing through a resistor from this way, there is a fall in voltage, so you can take minus V is equal to minus IR. Same way for the current, that is if it is flowing from this direction, then the rise in voltage can be find out by V is equal to positive IR. So it is important to note that the sign of battery EMF is independent of the direction of current through branch. Okay, now the sign of IR drop. Now the case of resistor, we can take a simple case in which if we go through a resistor in the same direction as the current, then there is a fall in potential, because the current flows from a higher to a lower potential. Hence this voltage fall should be taken as a negative. However, if we go in a direction opposite to that of the current, that is in this direction if we are taking, so what will happen, that there is a rise in voltage, and hence this voltage rise should be given in a positive sign. So it is clear that the sign of the voltage drop across the resistor depends on the direction of current through that resistor, but it is independent of the polarity of any other source of EMF in the circuit under consideration. So to do the analysis, we can take a simple network, that is ABCDA. This one is the one loop in which we travel around the mesh in this clockwise direction. So what will be the voltage drop we will see? See, if we are traveling from this direction, then what will happen, I1 into I2, that is it will be negative because there is a fall in the potential. Now second one is I2 into R2. So there is I2 into R2. So the battery EMF is again a fall in potential, that is positive to negative. If it is negative to positive, then you have to take plus sign, otherwise you have to take as a minus sign. Then in the third case, I3 into R3. So there is a rise in potential. Here you can say that the potential is rise, so you have to take as a positive sign. In the fourth case, I4 into R4. That means again it is a negative sign, because there is a fall in potential. So using Kirchhoff voltage law, we can get the equation, that is I1 R1 minus I2 R2 minus I3 R3 minus I4 R4 minus the EMF of the circuit. So EMF in the circuit is equal to E1 and E2. So if we are simplifying it, that is if we are putting this E1 and E2 in the left hand side, so we get I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2 minus I3 R3 plus I4 R4 is equal to E1 minus E2. So these things are useful when we are solving the different numericals. So we will see the numericals based on Kirchhoff voltage law and Kirchhoff current law in my next class. We will also see how we can solve the different complicated network. See, whenever you are doing the DC circuit analysis, at some instant the resistors are so many. So what you cannot find the equivalent resistor directly. You cannot apply the series or parallel connection principle directly, or you may not use the Kirchhoff voltage law or Kirchhoff current law for the simplification. So what you can first convert those network with a technique